Oh boy. Hey everybody, I'm Captain Tommy Scoble, and you are on the lifeboat. I'm gonna tell you something. This, people, is a panel. You know what? Sometimes we do these shows. I don't know what I'm saying. Every single time Russ and I do one of these shows, because in the bottom corner, I'm sorry, right over there next to me is my normal partner in crime or out of crime. Russ, how you doing?
What's
Good
up,
to
brother?
see you.
You
Now,
too?
you guys know Lord Kiss Freak in the upper right-hand corner, and then directly above me, you do know our friend, but this is the first time that she has made an appearance on here, right?
Yeah.
This is the one, the only, right? Are you happy to be here? Are you frightened? Kelly B?
I'm
69?
scared. I ain't scared. I'm nervous.
No, you're not. You are among friends.
I know.
And you know what? We're fascinated because every single time we do one of these, someone will say, are they slinging ink in women's prisons? Right? Are they doing this in women's prisons? And we always go,
do.
how in the hell do we know what they're doing in a women's prison? Right? You know, unfortunately, because I promise you, Russ Hampton would have traded in his Cali number quick if they would have sent him to a women's prison. I would have done that real quick myself, but it was not an option.
You wouldn't want to be at a Georgia prison, Georgia women's prison. It's rough.
You know, I've heard Georgia prisons in general are rough.
Yeah.
Now, just to keep everything in real perspective, we also have the Canadian factor, right? Lord Kiss Freak is here, and I remember in the interview. If you guys have never seen the interview I did with Lord Kiss Freak, one of the first takeaways was, "My brother, you are really happy that this happened north of the border." Right?
Oh yeah,
because we down here we really like locking people up, right? He would have done some much heavier time, and I think it's really a statement, isn't it? Because you know what? Of all of the people on the boat, right? This was a cat that got turned around real quick with very little time.
Yeah,
it says an awful lot, right? About how effective locking people up for long periods are. But we're gonna let you guys ask some questions. We are gonna we're going to open this thing up and we're going to have some fun. But before we do, since I'm Captain Merrill Steuben around this joint, I'm going to ask a couple of questions because there are some things that I am downright fascinated about and I've always wanted to ask. So, to our lady convict, and I say that, by the way, let's any of you think I am being even slightly disrespectful to Kelly, right? Make no mistake. That is the highest form of compliment. Right, among people who have done time. That doesn't mean that you are right. To say you are not a convict is an insult, right? I'm not calling her an inmate. I put that up there for the regular folks because I didn't want to think have anyone think I was offending any of us. But there are many inmates on this panel here. We got some.
Yeah, it's like an unspoken respect.
It really is.
What's up, convict? You know,
that's it.
It is.
Yeah. The solid ones, right? The solid ones.
Yeah, the solid, the real ones.
So I got some questions for you because there are some things I'm straight fascinated about. Now, there are a couple of things I just take for granted, right? Like you're making wine, right? There's always going to be people, right, making wine. That I took for granted. But you had people in there making tattoo guns and you know slinging ink.
Yeah.
So basically, everything we
beautiful, aren't they?
Well, you know what? Prison ink. You know what? That's the luck of the job. You know, a lot of that. I know, Russ. We've talked about it before. You know what? If you got a real good tattoo artist in your unit or whatever, that's great. I've been in a unit where there's a guy in there kind of cutting his teeth and learning. Man, you see some
of the best tattoo artists are in prison. That's
you know
where you get some of your best work.
I brag pretty heavy on my guy, but like this,
I do too.
It's some pretty sick work. You know, my
Cheshire
cat, all of that. Like he had it together. He did some pretty good stuff. Yeah. I've posted this before. I have no idea where that cat thinks it's going. Squirrel, you nut job. Anyway, so how is the interaction between guards and inmates in a woman's facility, and what percentage of the guards are male?
Most all the guards. Okay, I was at Lee Arundel State Prison, which is in Alto, Georgia, and that's diagnostics. everybody goes there first. And so when I got to diagnostics in February of 2020, I was the last load they brought in because they quarantined us. So I was in a dorm with everybody for 3-4 months with one guard that came through whenever they felt like it. But there was mostly men guards.
Yeah.
But while I was there, I watched 3 separate arrests for relations between guards and women. And one of them was a female guard.
Yeah.
But they're doing time now. I kind of follow it since I witnessed it. I was there. I kind of follow it. See what happens.
I love it.
But yeah, the men, you can tell the men guards like it. They like the attention because a female will do whatever it takes to get what they want.
Yeah.
Majority of them will, and they will. And they get downright flirty.
Yeah.
But there's girls that's turned up pregnant in prison.
Mm-hmm.
They had just found a girl pregnant when I got released.
That the woman that killed her entire family, the Smith woman that we just did a show on over on Surviving the Survivor.
Yeah,
that woman got knocked up. I don't know whether it was twice or 3 times, right, while incarcerated. Pretty popular with the staff. And the crazy thing is that they can't consent, right?
Right.
If you're behind bars, I promise you, you're not consenting, right? Because you have no. If they want to, when you're in that position of power, you can't consent. It's not that kind of a situation. There's an interesting question: is there a female equivalent of a Peckerwood, or the what are the ladies calling? You're a white lady. What are they calling women back there? You got a nickname for each other like that?
What I don't understand what you mean.
Okay, so I'll give you
what they call their toys.
No. So the white boys inside of the prison system, white boys refer to one another as woods or peckerwoods. It started out as an insult that the brothers would call the white guys, and very much like the N-word was an insult that white guys used to call black dudes. Black dudes all refer to each other, with the N-word, and the white boys all refer to each other as woods. And you see tattoos that say Peckerwood pimp, Peckerwood killer, all that. So
no, I didn't find that out. People they don't like to be called names. Period.
Yeah.
Nobody does. But yeah, I don't remember like anybody having specific nicknames like that.
Was it pretty racist in there? Is it like
very?
Very. Had a feeling that probably ran the same way from one joint to the next.
It was bad. My first day there, I watched a girl get stabbed. Are we allowed to say gang names on here? The red and blue. I'll tell you, they got into it, and this girl came out with a shank the length of a pencil and cut her about 3 inches across the stomach. And I just, I'm standing there like
horrified.
But I didn't see nothing. I just turned and walked. I wanted to help, but
got us a convict.
You just can't.
She saw nothing.
Yeah. You don't know what happened.
That's right. Ben Bacon Bits, big hands cap, by the way, says, how famous was Colonel Russell Williams inside the system in Canada? You know what? This is a pretty fascinating case. You know what he's talking about, don't you?
I don't.
Okay. Well, if you have never seen Colonel Russell Williams, you're probably not a true crime freak. But if you're a true crime freak, it is absolutely the greatest interrogation ever. But I'm fascinated. The Canadian system, you get caught as and I'm not busting anybody's chops here. Everybody here got caught, right? I robbed banks. We all know what everybody did. But our friend was trafficking in the Bolivian marching powder. How long have we been on? 10 minutes. We're cool. He was selling coke, right? And that north of the border got him, I believe, what is called a provincial. What is the You
Yeah.
did time in what was the it's not called
It
a
was the
prison. What do you
provincial
call it?
system.
The
The
provincial system. So it's,
diagnostics.
no, I was asking our Canadian
Oh.
brother. I believe what you did,
Oh,
it was closer to like a jail. How much time did you do altogether?
Altogether, probably 9 months. It was just
Absolutely.
small stints there, a month here, a month there, and then at the end it was 45 days spread over weekends, which took forever.
You know what though? It's fascinating to me. And so I had about 5 people that I did time with who were in our country, but they were doing time in America. And then when it was over, they were going back. And I did time with some people who were doing time from Canada. Did time with a couple of people from Australia, and it was fascinating to talk to different people. But the Canadians were always just blown away. Like I remember this guy coming in and going, "Dude, I got 11 years." I was like, "Well, how much stuff did you have?" And he was like, "I had a half a pound." Right? He was talking about meth. He's like, "But I got 11 years." I was like, "Well, you're solid." Right? You didn't tell on anybody. You got 11 years for that. You could walk any yard. I promise you didn't tell anybody. But he said, "Man, north of the border." He's like, "I don't think I would have done time on this." Like, period. It's amazing to me how different it is. And the more I meet people from around the world, the more I realize, Russ, that we really are in a system here in the U.S. that is an animal farm. I mean,
It is.
really is.
It's horrible.
Yep.
During the quarantine, when they had us quarantined, there was going days without getting medicine down there, and I watched several women get taken out in ambulance not having their insulin, and they just put you down there like it was nothing, like we didn't exist.
So, good Lord. I mean, that's frightening. The concept of not bringing someone insulin is, that actually sounds like Lewisburg, but it's terrifying. So you were just going in as the quarantine was starting?
Yeah.
I was just going out. So I did like the last 5 months, right? 5 months, right around 5 months of my sentence I did on lockdown. And I mean, not me, the Bureau of Prisons. There was not one person in the Bureau of Prisons that was not in their cell. Did you have a shower in your cell, Kelly?
No.
Oh,
no,
Lord.
we had it was open dorm. In diagnostics now, it was like individual rooms, but no doors you went through, and then the bathrooms connected to rooms.
Right.
Like it was that setup. And then when I got moved to to general population, when I got GP'd, I was in an open dorm.
Dorms.
So I never was in the
quarantine in a dorm
cell. They just locked you in a big dorm. It was so against the law. While they had us quarantined, they were under us, the floor under us, removing asbestos. We're watching them walk in and out of the, you're trying to peek through that little bitty grate and the blurry windows. And we're watching people with hazmat suits walk in and out. And there we are up there just breathing it all in.
It's same as the jail I was at. It was just all open dorms. Like 15, 20 guys per, we call them ranges.
Range?
Yeah.
Did you say 20 guys per range?
Yeah, at least. So how do you isolate?
But no, you're not isolating anything. Yeah. Right? What a waste. Even in a regular prison setting. I mean, are you kidding? So you have a vent in your cell, right? It's not an air conditioning unit.
Connected to all your neighbors.
It goes to the outside. It goes to the next cell. That stuff just gets pushed through 180 cells. Just keeps going around in circles. That cracked me up. I'm like, are we supposed to wear these things in the cell? You know what I mean? Like, or do we take these off when we sleep, or how does this work? And when they would come with the, I don't know if they did this where you were, but every other meal, when they came with the trays, you got 2 new masks, right? It's just, I mean, we had a mask collection. You would not believe the. It's not like you got to change those things every 6 seconds. They were so overboard with that. But you guys, so in the dorm, you could at least go and grab a shower whenever you needed one.
Yeah.
Okay, no,
Yeah.
that isn't how it went down. With
Yeah.
us.
Now in the county jail, my Carroll County jail, where I was from, I did a year there straight to the door. That's 2-man cell with the toilet, just typical jail setup. Yeah. And it's like that in the prison too. I just happened to be sent to Gym Pop because I wasn't long term. I went in February and I was released in October, and that's all it took me to teach my.
Got your attention, did it?
I ain't going back. That was what
do the fellas say, Russ? That'll hold her.
Yeah, you learn.
That'll hold her. Yeah. That's what the fellas like to drop the old "that'll hold her" line, or "that'll hold them." Usually, right around the time you come back and you say to the fellas, and your heart is in the dirt, right? You say, "Man, they gave me 106 months," and there's always some jackwagon sitting there going, "Well, that'll hold you." And you just want to put your thumbs on the dude's throat, right? Yeah. No, it's I don't know if women's prisons are the same way, but there is among convicts and among people, especially men's prisons, there's not a lot of compassion when it comes to certain things. And one of them is the amount of time they gave you on a sentence. It's very rare that somebody comes up and goes, "No, bummer." I was going through, I told this story before, but I was going through Oklahoma City, and the Con Air station is there. So I was just getting ready to get on the plane, and I'm sitting with 150, 180 guys, whatever, on a bench. And there were these 2 black guys that were next to me, and you can't do I'm going to get in a line with a bunch of white guys. They ain't playing any of that game. They just line you up. Where you fall is where you fall. They don't play any games. So I got 2 black guys next to me, and there's black on the other side, and they're having a conversation across me, right? And I'm just sitting there. One of them is a youngster, and the other guy's got to be maybe 6 years older than me. And at the time, I'm in my 40s. But he says to the kid, "So how much time they give you a youngster?" And he goes, "They gave me 25 years, the kid says, right? And the kid's probably 17, 18. And the guy goes, "God," right? But he just repeats the GD again and again, and he just keeps 25 years. I said, "Hey, man, you could watch the kid's face, the kid's melting. I'm like, hey, Pops, lay off the kid. He looks like he's having a bad time." He's like, "Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. But damn, man, 25 years." I thought, lighten up. Yeah, there's not a lot of compassion in prison. How about in a women's prison? And I'd like to know a couple of things that people have emailed me 100 times. Russ, how many times have people asked you, what happens to somebody in there who hurt their kids? I mean, how is that? I mean,
they get hurt.
I'm going to tell you what I witnessed, and this is the God's honest truth.
Well, I believe in advance.
They didn't do nothing. Nothing. I slept next to Maria Owens. I pulled up their pictures. I thought we might, and this is nothing you can't find on Georgia Department of Corrections. I mean, nothing that nobody else can't find. It's all public knowledge. But her right here, I slept next to her for 5 months, and she killed a little boy. But everybody just worshiped the ground she walked on. Yeah, showed her and then this girl, she killed her nephew with a baseball bat because he ate a cupcake. Ooh. And they dubbed her in Georgia the cupcake killer. He was hungry. He was malnutritioned after she called 911 and said that he was choking on the cupcake. When they got there, he was broken bones, black and blue, but he was malnourished, so he was hungry, and he was just wanting to eat, and she killed him. But when she got to prison, when she got there, she was somebody's girlfriend on the street, and they worshiped her. She led them. She became the head of the blue group.
Oh, okay.
In our area. She was over it all. And I just couldn't believe it. I was expecting to see her get it, you know. But and I was locked up with a lady, an elderly lady who had beat an elderly lady for elder abuse. And nobody but me ever said nothing to her. I was the only
that's
one
a death sentence.
And she said something smart to me one day, and I turned in the phone line, and I turned around, and I don't remember what exactly, but I said something to the effect about beating old people, that I knew what she had done. I knew who she was from the news, and she just ought to keep her mouth shut. And she never said nothing else to me. But I can't remember her name, but I'd been locked up.
Pulling the covers, we call that.
Mm-hmm.
Threaten to pull the covers.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, I didn't witness that. Now, maybe once you get into the bigger dorms, that far in, but usually they're fighting over other women.
Yeah.
That's real bad.
I have heard that before from not from women, but from guards. A lot of guards, believe it or not, watch this. Watch the Lifeboat. But I've had a bunch of guards that wrote in and said that the most problems that they had inside women's prison was because of relationships.
Yeah,
there were,
and that's
a lot of interesting.
They're girl.
I like this. Theory. I'm going to blow it up though because I'm damn near blind. Here we go. Generally speaking, of course, that's not coming from me. Generally speaking, of course, not 100% of the time, but men in groups are more hierarchical, and women are more collaborative. Maybe that's why you see men's prison create different classes. You know, there might be something to that.
I agree.
One of the other things, though, I think is that inside of men's prisons, there are a lot of guys, and Russ, you can tell me if you think I'm a nut on this one, but there are a lot of guys inside there who are still trying to take care of their family. You follow me?
Yes.
And for that reason, they're still breaking the law, and they're doing it every single day. And there are businesses that are moving. I mean, they estimate, right, in the U.S., $1 billion worth of heroin a year is sold in the prison systems in the U.S.
Oh, yeah.
$1 billion.
Yeah, I believe it. Because now the thing when I was locked up, what was K2?
I knew it.
I knew it
just because of when you were locked up. I knew that was coming.
But I ain't gonna lie, I smoked my share of it.
Did you really?
I did.
Really?
And
well, I'll be damned.
I did. I smoked some of it. It just makes you feel kind of real high. Real stoned. Yeah. And
I mean, it scared the crap out of me.
But I didn't.
Was there anybody freaking out in there? You didn't have.
Yeah, one girl did freak out. She freaked out, and they took her to the shoe up on the hill. You was talking about
deuce?
Sorry,
go ahead, Kelly.
Yeah, you was asked me about women being mean to child abusers. The lady that put her baby in the microwave in Atlanta, she's on death row. She's the only female on death row, and her food is delivered separately, and they do ugly stuff to her food. They defecate in it and do stuff like that too. I do that from the kids.
The death row stuff. So at Terre Haute, Indiana, I was at the FCI, but across the street. So the FCI, we had the death house there. But across the street is where they keep all of the people who are waiting to go on to death row. And they have to have their own kitchen because the crimes that these cats did, have made so many people so angry that they can't, there's not like a regular set of inmates preparing those people's food. It's just, it could never, ever, work out that way. Hey,
right.
Russ, did you know anybody who on the inside, did you have an allergy, Russ? Were you working any hustles with so the food allergy thing? Very often, if you can come up with a really ridiculous food allergy,
special
let
diet,
your homeboys in the kitchen, right, know what your ridiculous food allergy is, right? So the smart guys, the convicts that have done a lot of time, will come in and be like, "Well, I'm allergic to mushrooms, onions, and garlic powder," right? So it's like the one tray, right? There's no chance that tray can go to anybody but that dude. That way, when he goes to the hole,
Mm-hmm.
Throw a little something under his mashed potatoes or whatever to get it back there. And I remember putting trays together for people I didn't know. Right? Guys would come back and be like, "Hey, man, this needs to go in that no onion, no garlic, no no mayo tray, whatever." And that's how a lot of that crap got back. Did you ever do those hustles, Russ?
Oh yeah, my celly was on a special diet, and we would get apples when we were on lockdown.
Yep.
And some of the apples would be hollow with whatever he was, getting. So it was crazy.
That's a pretty good idea, though, to haul out an apple.
Well, you know something? I am so blown away. So we're you said K2 was the big one when you were there.
Yeah.
Was it all coming in through the mail?
Yeah, at that time, they were still letting like people send pictures, photocopies, and it was coming in, and you wouldn't have never known what it was.
Nope.
But they've been soaking it in that stuff. And another thing they were doing is putting Suboxone strips underneath the stamp. Yeah. Even the other day when you was talking about that, I was just talking back to the TV about it.
It's amazing that you sit around. People all the time say, convicts really come up with so much. You got nothing to do, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, honestly, especially when you're in the life, right?
Yep.
Like Russ was, you were getting high when you were in there. I was getting high when I was in there. If you're in the life while you're in there and you're doing things, the only thought you have is, how am I going to get high again?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So for 24 hours a day, you sit there and think, how can I get this stuff in here? Right? There's gotta be a way. And if you got one homeboy on the street, like, you can get really creative. I've told the stories, but the guy that goes and buys the book, takes it home, puts all the stuff in the spine of the book, and then puts the book down his pants and walks back into the bookstore and buys it. Right? And walks up to the counter and says, "I want to mail this to Tommy Scoville. He's at such and such a prison." Now they're going to say to you, "Okay, we'll take care of that." And when you walk out the door, they put the book back on the shelf, and they call the local store right near the prison in whatever state you're in, and you don't get your book. So you got to open up the front cover and write, "To Tommy," right? Or "To Russ." From Tommy, keep your head up, man. Stay sober in there, whatever. So that book has to get sent, right? But they've caught on. What happens is this: they'll bust a dirt bag, right? And the dirt bag will say, "I don't want to do 30 days in the hole. So I'll just tell you how everybody's getting the dope in," right? Or whatever. But that was a big one for a long time. The books, magazines. That right as I was leaving prison, the big one was magazines. So if you go to a place that sells all of it, like you don't have a subscription to the magazine, but you just go buy loose ones. On the bottom, where it would normally have your address, is blank. So guys would go buy those magazines, and then you take a printer and you put the name of the inmate and all of the numbers right on there, right? And then they would take the, like the strips that they have for, the deodorants or the perfumes or the colognes or whatever. And they'd get those puppies open and just strip them the hell out. Put the strips in there. But that no matter, every time they come up with a new way, then the prison comes up with a new way of making sure that the stuff doesn't get in. And right as I was leaving, they were saying, "You're not getting any more letters." How's that? Nothing's getting mailed in here anymore. That was their new thing. So your letter comes in, they take a photocopy of it, and you see it on a screen. And you're not getting
no postcards,
pictures, nothing. No
cards.
Postcards have been gone for a long time. Birthday cards have been gone. They were gone when I was still in there.
And that is so horrible, because not everybody can afford those phone calls and the emails and in there. Not everybody has family that's got money like that.
No.
It's sad. They just take advantage of you, even when you're down as low as you can be. They're still
Lord Kiss Freak, the gang situations up there. Are there gang presences inside the system?
Well, where I was, not really.
I think
Maybe
is
bigger
this a
prisons.
unique thing you think to our country or what? How about on the streets? Do you guys have a gang problem in Canada? Period, or not at all?
In the north, it's not so bad, but yeah, there is, like in the bigger cities.
That's an interesting question too. Does
I was
the
talking with Russ the one time, and like we're not even segregated in prison. Like everybody gets thrown in there, and they're all the same.
Huh.
We're all just a number to them.
well, you know something, so that people know, the East Coast is that way, for real.
Yeah.
On
Right.
the East Coast, that all of the racist stuff and all of that stuff is very uniquely kind of a West Coast thing. So, Lloyd Kissfree, you heard us talk about the SHU, right? The segregated housing unit. They have
The hole.
the same concept. The whole, yeah. So you have the hole there too.
Oh, yeah, and like when you were explaining about how they take all your clothes and you get that almost like a vest. It's a little different for us. We call it a baby doll.
A baby doll?
Yeah, it's like a skirt made out of almost a mattress material.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's the same thing. You might
Yeah.
call it something different, but it's the exact same thing.
Yeah.
You described it the same way.
Yep.
Oh no! Did you ever wear one? Tell the truth. Did you ever have to? Did you
Yes,
ever
I
get
have.
one of those?
Yes, I have.
Hey, you know what, man? High five for the honesty. Because Russ, tell the truth. No man ever wants to admit that they've ever been inside a U.S. prison. The craziest thing is if you go into a unit and say, "Hey, man, you ever been on the watch?" Every single dude in that room will go, "Nope." So right now in here, there's 30 guys on the watch currently, but nobody in this room's ever done it. I've never met a convict that inside that admitted to it, but there was always.
And we're not in California up here. It's cold under those baby dolls.
You know what? You're not lying. And you get one blanket, and the blanket is as thick as the baby doll dress that you got on.
Yeah.
It doesn't even bend, right? So you're like this.
Yeah.
You're walking around like the Ninja Turtle thing. I got put in one of those puppies. Look, I'll keep it real. I got put in one of those things on right before Thanksgiving, and I did not take that thing off until the following year. Right? I made it all the way until January 1. And I spent a long time, and it's colder than hell. It is the worst. And no pillow, no socks, and no boxes.
Oh my God.
Which is really nice. Let's just say that it might have been nice to have a little something between you and that mattress you're wearing. You know what I mean? It's it's kind of like wearing burlap. It's not
comfortable.
I ain't never had to wear one. But I ain't never had to wear one. They call them a turtle suit. We're
the turtle suit. Yeah, that's
a turtle suit.
Too.
Yeah.
I heard out in Canada there's a lot of bikers.
Biker gangs. Yeah. She says there are definitely some up in there. Yeah, probably at the higher custody levels. I would imagine that's something that I think in most places it probably rides with custody level. Because even in the U.S., if you're the place that they just took old DM, right?
Mm-hmm.
Probably not going to be wild with gang activity as your custody level begins to drop, right? The White Sox, inhumane. Hey, I want to tell you something. I like White Sox. So, big fan of White Sox. We had to wear pink socks in there. How about that?
Oh, wow.
We did. In the feds, you either wear pink boxers and pink socks, or if you happen to catch a yard that doesn't dye it right, you get orange, right? But it's supposed to all be pink. And they're not doing that. They make a big thing about how they're doing it to like it's supposed to be degrading or whatever. It's supposed to be so that you do not look like anybody on the street. That's they're trying to make it look so that if you get out, you're not walking down the street with a pair of shoes on, like you stand out. It has nothing to do with, they went with a color that chances are you're not going to see one other guy who's wearing pink boxers and pink socks cruising down the street that you might mistake them from. No, we're just too nice and polite.
Mm-hmm.
I seen
I
that
love
Mary put a question up there about pregnant.
Yes.
Yes. Well, if you're pregnant, you just get sent to prison. They take you to in downtown Atlanta. They've got a place just for pregnant prisoners, and when they leave there, the second they go into labor, they leave there, and then they discharge the mama from the hospital, and they go back to whatever prison you're supposed to be at. They won't never go back to the pregnancy. But I can't remember the name of it now, but I've seen several girls come back and they had just given birth the day before, and and they needed postpartum care, proper care.
Yeah.
They don't care. They just threw them down there, and I mean, there they are, going through all that, being separated from their baby on top of it. It's sad.
That is one of the ugliest.
Very sad.
That really is one of the ugliest things in the world. Really, truthfully.
I'm so thankful that my children were grown when I got sent off like that.
You know what? You're very, very fortunate, to be sure.
Yeah.
I wish I could say the same. I really do. That would have been a good one. I wish I could say.
Yeah.
Have any of you ever done time in a private prison?
No
Russ
such
says
thing up
he
here.
has.
Mm-hmm.
I have as well. Which one were you? Which one were you in there, Russ? What was it like?
That was out here in Indiana. It was a CCA. It's privately
CCA,
owned.
Corrections Court.
So,
Been there, done that. What did you think?
Yep. Oh, it was nice.
It was the softest time you ever did, didn't it?
Probably.
My
I like CCA. I really
my
do.
youngest son's father, Anthony, he's locked up in South Georgia at Wheeler, and he's at a private prison, and they get to eat like pork chops and stuff on the grill.
Yep.
He eats better in there than he does on the street.
Out here, yeah.
Well,
in California, no.
You know when I lost it? I mean, honestly, where I went, where am I? I got put in a CCA, and I was not having a particularly good time. Right? I was going through it, and I got sent down to medical for a TB test. Right there, instead of just jabbing you, they just do a chest X-ray of every person who comes through, every single person. Now, look, I've been in the feds, I don't know, at that point, 9 years or something like that. Like every yard I've been to has stuck me with a needle, right? Or given me. So I'm like, I got to go down and do this again. I did this 2 weeks ago. They said, it's a chest X-ray. So I go down and I sit down and I watch The Matrix, right? The entire freaking movie from start to finish, right? I mean, but one entire, the first one. And I'm like, holy crap, how long have I been here? So the thing starts coming in. I'm the only guy in the room. It's not like they're moving people. So I went and knocked on the glass. And I just said, hey, what are we doing here, man? I've been here for like 2.5 hours. I only need a chest X-ray. What are we doing? And she's like, hey, we're going to get to you in a minute. As I said, I was kind of going through it. So I might have thrown a chair against the glass. It's just a plastic thing. I didn't break anything. But I just kind of flicked this chair against the glass and started yelling a little bit. And a cop comes in and he goes like this with both hands, right? He goes, hey, is everything all right? I go, hey, I've been here for like 2.5 hours. He goes, it's dinner. I can take you back there. We'll get you a second tray and we can come back here tomorrow at any time you want. I go, where in hell am I? Like, what is this prison? But yeah, those private prisons, man, they're different.
Yeah.
Really. How do you handle the lack of connection and human touch in prison? Holy hell. That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Russ, I mean, did you have a lady on the street at the time?
I didn't get a visit for 10 years.
I prefer it. I swear to God. I've done it both ways. And if you've got somebody on the street, it can be absolute hell.
Cut them loose.
Cut them loose.
Honestly, I can't do your time and my time. So
oh my God, man. And you know what? I'm going to do 10 years, a block of time when a girl's going from 20 to 30. I kind of feel like maybe she should just go, I'm not a great catch anyway. I want this girl to hold up on me. And I married my attorney, which is kind of a different thing. That didn't work out either. And I just don't think it ever works. Oh, it is an honor, my man. JD Delay.
I love
it's-
JD. Big
He
fan.
doesn't.
Thanks,
Big fan.
JD.
Yeah, big fan of him.
Now he will tell you that there are no fans right over there.
Well,
And you know what? I dig it.
I
He's
love
built
his
he's built
community.
a really great community, and I'll tell you what, man.
Yeah, I love what he does.
I don't watch a lot of prison shows. I really don't. And it's not. I mean, I watch JD because of what he did after he got out. Like for real.
Yeah.
I love that. I really do.
Yep.
It's there's just way too many of us that don't make it, and
Right.
so that when people get out and start doing something, especially when it gets attention and puts a message out that you can live sober, and you know what, man, the biggest resource we're wasting in this country right now is human beings. Right?
Exactly.
Friggin' day. You know,
Yeah,
it's horrific, and the ones that are dying, right, may be the lucky ones. A lot of zombies walking around right now, and a lot of those poor people are, they got kids, and you know, this is country is we're really taking a beating, people, but there are still some good people out there fighting. JD, no lie, man, it's an honor, really an honor.
it is.
Yeah.
I eat fruit. This is great. I love it, Droosh. I eat a lot of fruit. How would I get fresh fruit daily if I end up in the slammer? This may shock you. They will probably give you fresh fruit every day.
Yes, they will.
Yep. They will give you. Will they not? They will style you out with fruit every day. That I
sure
promise.
will.
Yeah. I used to carry home enough apples every day, unless you get the wrong cop on. You know what I mean? You're leaving the chow on, he's patting everybody down or whatever. But I was always good for bringing about 5 or 10 apples home a day. Not just to make wine. I used to eat a lot of apples. But
every meal had a fruit.
And to make wine. They give you all the fruits you want up in Canada?
Yeah. You get some kind of fruit with every meal.
You know, in the feds, depending on what part of the country you were in, you used to get really hooked up. So if you were in Texas, you might eat steak 6 days a week because they had a deal with the cattle guys, right? For real. So if you were doing time in the feds and you were up in the Northeast, you might be getting lobsters. No lie, man.
Yeah.
No lie. But if once they went to this national menu, everybody got screwed. So instead of a couple of people having a really good prison, you know, where you got really good food, they just said you're done. Kelly, how bad was the food in the women's prison?
Oh God. It's bad. It was,
Man.
yeah. I don't even know how to
never heard
explain
anybody
it to
say
people. It don't look like real food. You kind of hit or miss and guess at if it's rutabaga or squash or whatever. Georgia grows all their own food.
You know something though? I don't know that you can complain at that. I mean, at least there's something that's food. My God, what we used to unload off the back of the trucks would say grade D meat, not fit for consumption.
Yeah, not fit for human consumption. It sure
People
does.
Don't believe me when I tell them that, but I swear to God, that's the truth.
Does.
JD would back me up on that. Russ would back me up on that. The grade D meat, right? Below C goes to dog food companies.
Exactly.
Yeah, for real. That's why it says not for humans. But we would get, and in the feds, the big thing was on chicken day, man. You get one. There's only one side of the chicken arm, right? You never get the other side. And I said, one day I was like, am I tripping or does they all look? He goes, no, but they inject one where that's where the juice goes, where the steroids go. And he's like, and it shrivels up so bad that really there's only one. I went, well, that's freaking pleasant. So these are when they're done laying eggs, when they literally cannot lay another egg, send them off to the feds and we'll roast them. So that's great. I'm telling you, the things that they're doing to us inside.
I guess every prison does a chicken day. What is it?
You know, and Jay Delay was just saying that in Oregon, I'll tell you, I did time in Oregon. Some of my favorite time I did in Oregon. I was at Sheridan, the Sheridan Federal Yard. The FCI Sheridan.
Right.
Paradise. That's right. That is a white boy yard. That is there aren't a lot of FCIs that are straight, like where the white boys still have the yard. That's a white boy yard. That was a really fun yard to be on. Big Meech was there. There were some famous people on there. You know what? JD, are you kidding, Shelly Kelly? JD, I would love it. JD has an open invite. Like anytime ever, it would be the world's biggest honor, man. He's a star. That man's he's a bona fide star. Kestrel 42 says, you live near Sheridan. Tell the truth. When you drive up on that prison in Sheridan, it's one of the most beautiful things you've ever seen. Doesn't look like a prison. They have a turtle pond.
Oh,
right? They have big, I'm not joking, like this is soft time. We pulled up and I went, what the hell is this? Now I had been to every ugly fed yard. I pulled up there and went, this is the most beautiful thing I have ever seen. Tampa Bay, you make me laugh. You never been to Oregon has a majority white prisons. Well, this because in the feds they ship everybody all over the place. Sometimes where you would think, but yards end up turning and getting really funky. One of the saddest things about the federal system. So like here, this guy that just got stabbed, Derek Chauvin, right? The guy that he got stabbed at FCI Tucson. That was hands down the greatest prison on earth. I'm not kidding. It had 5 units. 3 of them were shut down, right? And shut down because one was an INS immigration yard. One was a woman's transport yard for women's prisons. And then the 3rd unit was actually like a county holdover. There were so many cases of people who were coming across the border that they were using one entire, it was like having another jail kind of a thing. So we had 2 units and an entire yard. And there were walking paths and like date palm trees. Crap. I used to tell people, you take a picture anywhere from my cell to the chow hall, you would not know I was in a prison. For real.
Wow.
Right? It was just gorgeous. But what did they do? They screwed it up. They walked in, handed every guy on the yard. I had already been run off for doing dope, but they handed every single dude on the yard a piece of paper that said, this is what's going to happen. You're going to roll your stuff up. And in 3 days, a bus is coming, taking every single person off this yard. Unless you want to sign this piece of paper. And all the white boys know what I'm talking about, because at some point, someone's been asked to look at a piece of paper like this. And what it says is, you're bringing freaks around this yard, or the yard you just got to has freaks on it. You're going to sign something saying, I'm not going to hurt the freaks. Nobody signs it, right? So they end up shipping the entire yard off. And they turned that into a yard of 60 people. And Derek Chauvin was one of them there. But they turn a yard over. So, Bloody Beaumont becomes Buddy Beaumont. Hey, JD, man, it is Tommy Scoville at gmail.com,
right,
brother. Send me an email and I would be above happy, brother. Lots of questions I would love to ask you. I really would. And you know what?
that'd be nice.
That's what makes you a star, dog. That's what makes you a star. For real. I don't think, I'm not, but to come out, period, right? To come out of prison and make it. I don't care what you're doing, but to come out and make it, period, is a beautiful thing. And everybody that does it is a star, right? For real. Because the vast majority, 80%, don't make that. They go back. Kelly, I'm glad you're out, babe. I really am. And I'm so glad you came on here. There was a rumor you were nervous about this. That was the rumor we were hearing.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I'm not so nervous anymore.
No, because you're around 3 other people that have done time. What do you got? Yeah. This is a convict group, right?
And Lord, I see y'all every day and talk to you every day.
Daily. This is a family. Brought to you by Blazing Foods. If you were looking for a peanut hot enough to take your face off, we have Johnny.
I'll be right back.
Tube of terror. Yeah. People, if you did not watch you know what? I'm going to get in trouble. I don't care. Because this is funny. It's not like good funny. It's Tommy's a bad guy funny. Crazy girl, thank you so much. We are turning this place green. Ensigns everywhere.
No, you got
there you go. Autographed.
Heck yeah.
Did you eat those nuts?
Hey, Johnny.
Did you knock that tube back?
No. It's still full.
So we go to this place, names the burger. We have the Johnny Scoville and the Tommy Scoville burger at this restaurant, right?
Yeah.
So we go down to the restaurant for the unveiling of the Scoville Brothers burgers. And Johnny takes the top off of the tube of terror, and he's walking around and doing his Johnny thing, and he's offering everybody their peanut. And I'm following him doing the Tommy Scoville, where I go, hey, you've eaten something, right? Because this stuff will fold you in half. This peanut's no joke. This is the hottest thing on planet Earth. Like, don't just this is hot. And dude's like, oh, no. Well, Johnny throws a peanut into this young lady's hand. How old do you figure she is? Which one? What's his name's wife? I'm not trying to out anybody, so we're doing what's his name thing. I say in her 30s. So I say, and Johnny goes, to Johnny's credit, because probably it was a woman, but Johnny goes, hey, you're not on an empty stomach, right? And she goes, well, I haven't eaten. And her husband goes, no, you're good. You can do it. No one's good on these, right? These are not, you don't eat these for any other reason other than to say you ate them. And I'm watching this from the corner, like, and I watched it go back. I was like, oh, Lord, this is going to
Too late now.
And it's on film, bro. And I'm like, this is just going to end badly. Like, I don't think you can appreciate how freaking hot this is if you haven't eaten one. It's horrific, right? And I'm probably not doing a lot of. I'm not helping out the product much, but it's a challenge for God's sakes. It's supposed to burn your face off. But
Right.
this poor girl, you watch her do this one, and it's the I'm gonna arrange things on the table that aren't there. You know, they start you start smoothing things out like tablecloths. What's JD's channel?
JD Delay.
JD Delay.
What's it called? JD Delay is the name of the channel. Get over there and hit subscribe.
Yes.
You won't regret it. It's fun content. It really is.
Yeah,
and a
really
lot
good
of it.
content.
Yeah, he puts up a lot
He
of
makes
it too.
he makes me laugh every day.
Yeah, his shorts kill me. His shorts
Yeah.
are definitely funny. But you know what? He's here's the thing with JD, and I mean this in the absolute best of ways, but there are just certain kinds of convicts, and Russ knows what I'm talking about. But I did time with about 7 or 8 cats that remind me exactly of JD. Just solid white dudes. Solid white dudes slung the hell back. That just make doing time easier.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I got homeboys that are still down that remind me so much of him that that's why I
people
watch
make
him.
doing time easier, right?
Yep.
They're the guy at the table that's got you laughing, that
Mhm.
that keeps stories going. And yeah, thank you, Awakened. That's his link right there. And I'm telling you, there's really something to having one cat like that in every unit. And Russ,
it makes the time go by a little bit.
Makes the time go back, right?
Yep.
And how bad is it, Kelly, when that person gets rolled up? Honest to God, it's like a death in the freaking family. I can't imagine. I can't imagine the unit that you live in.
Unless you have a juice card, you can bring him right back.
That's right. You need that juice card, though.
Yep.
Now you need that.
Pull that
hey, I ain't
card.
gonna lie to you. Here's the crazy thing. Normally, if you have a juice card, that's not always a good thing.
No, it's not.
Because usually it means that you're a little chummy with some people that you shouldn't be chummy with, right?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly.
Right.
But
if you know who to pay off, you're good.
But I had a juice card at Terre Haute, and I don't care. I don't care if this guy goes to the joint because he's a dirtbag anyway. But the cop that was running the kitchen at Terre Haute was filthy, right?
Oh, yeah.
Filthy and not particularly bright. Like he comes in and he says to me, hey, I need you if you can help me organize stuff, like if you understand things, right? And I'm like, sure. So I go through and I'm just like organizing because it's just a pile of papers. And I'm like, hey, man.
Andy Dufresne
said, I put invoices here. I did payouts over here. He's like, you know which ones are which? I swear to God. I looked at this dude and went, huh? You don't know the difference between like, how are you running this place? And he goes, well, the last guy that had your job, I'm not kidding you, dude. Like the inmates are running the asylum. But I went to him and said, we're paying for beef, for beef patties. Twice a month, we're getting chicken instead of beef. And I started running the numbers. I'm like, I don't know how you're getting this kickback, bro. Like, I don't know how you're getting this, but you might want to tighten up your game because if I can find it, and he's just like called me convict, cursed me a bunch, so I didn't know what the hell I'm talking about. If you were smart, you stood on the street, like blah blah blah. And then when we went out on the loading dock, he handed me Taylor. Right? Said, here you go. Handed me a new pimp. And I figure if this guy's giving me a Newport, he's filthy, right? He's letting me smoke. But I had a juice card with that fool like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah.
Juice card with that guy.
We had
How about rats in there, Kelly? Are women ratting on each other in there? And snitches
they sure will. Women will tell on you quick. They sure will. Women ain't like men. Men always stand together in jail and stuff.
I tell you something though. I'll tell you something.
But
there's a lot of telling going on
together against when it comes to being inmates against the police, the guards, or whatever. Yeah. Men stand together. Women don't. They
you know what? I think men probably are pretty good at that. What's that, Russ?
She did it. Right there. That one right there.
And that's about what they do.
He ain't working, boss.
Right there in the white. Boss. That one. She did it.
SBTV Tattoo Warrior said women can be the devil.
Yeah.
I'm just mentioning that SBTV Tattoo Warrior, a woman, said women can be the devil. I wasn't saying that. I was just repeating that she said women can be the devil. I'm kidding. Tampa B says, a little disappointing to hear women are that way in prison. I feel you. Honest to God, I do. I kind of wanted to hear that they were stomping out people that hurt kids.
That's what I saw, and that's one jail or one prison amongst how many? But that was my witness time in there. I didn't see what I expected to see.
And as I'm sitting here thinking to myself, well, it's probably at the higher custody levels, right? Problem with that is if you're sleeping next to somebody that murdered somebody, right? Those custody levels, normally those custody levels, that's blending some people.
In diagnostics, you're in there. It don't matter if you
so this was in the
20 people or you've got, a minor possession charge. You're going to all go to diagnostics. And I don't it to be classified. And then they ship you either
that we don't usually ask one another.
Yeah.
Question the fellas don't normally ask one another, especially this new in our relationship as a cellie, or at least as living in a quad.
Yeah.
What were you in there for?
Possession with intent.
Okay.
I
actually knew that. I just didn't know if the whole world knew that.
No, that again, you can pull it up on Google under Georgia Department of Corrections. But that's what I went to prison.
You own it, or you hide for the rest of your life,
right?
And you feel guilty about a crime that you did how long ago? Kiss Freak came on here. If you've never seen the interview that I did with him, there was a moment in that interview, I swear to God, that has defined the boat. I had more people literally freak out because what happened was this drug dealer apologized to society and to the people that he was selling dope to. And it was just one of those moments where everybody just kind of went, and did that Labrador retriever kind of kick your head to the side.
I've apologized to a few people.
Right at the end before we ended the interview.
It was a beautiful thing. You have as well.
I'm gonna go back and watch it.
It's a beautiful thing. It really is. I never, like I've said this before, I've never met a victim of mine face to face. Right? With bank robbery, it doesn't really work that way. I mean, I guess if you took it to the box, right? They may come in or whatever. Or if they're really salty, they might show up, for your sentencing or something. But that didn't happen with me, right? That's a great question right here. And we're going to do this. We're going to go around in circles, right? This is a fascinating question. Hey, guys, great chat. I really believe that prison is not the answer for nonviolent crimes. Has prison helped any of you? Kelly, what do you think?
It helped me. I know, excuse me, I don't ever want to go back. I don't. I wasn't there long. I can't imagine doing years like y'all. I just can't. But I tell you what, that's all it took me to know.
That'll hold her.
That'll hold me. You got
That'll hold her.
That'll do, donkey.
That'll do, donkey. What about you? What about you, Russ? Do you prison help you out? Did you get anything out of it?
No, I mean, I made a choice to leave California because they said, we don't want you here. We're going to put you on a bus. So I said, okay, well, I could have went back to my uncle's. I could have went back to that life. I just didn't want to do it anymore. So prison really didn't do anything for me, but helped me learn, criminal ways. And I chose not to do that, but I caught 3 more years when I came to this state. So,
well, it takes a minute. It's just like everything else. It's like sobriety. You don't always get it on the first try.
Exactly. Right. And I haven't been to prison in, well, I don't know. Not 15, about 12 years.
Winning.
Yeah.
That's plenty.
Okay? Sober and, but it just taught me patience. It did. That's the only thing.
It's excellent at teaching you patience. It's excellent at teaching you routine. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There are things that you can learn there for sure. Lord Kiss Freak, do you think that being incarcerated helped you? Did you learn?
I haven't been back, so I'll say yes.
That's a pretty good sign. Pretty good sign.
It took
also,
a few
you stopped doing drugs. I mean, selling drugs too, right? So it wasn't just not going back, and right, you actually cleaned up. So that's a good sign.
Stayed away from all drugs since then.
Yep.
Okay. Lady J says, I don't see the point of prison for white collar and nonviolent crimes. And that was before that. She said, I'm very conservative, and I think prison should be for violent crimes and those who pose a risk to society. I don't see the point of prison for white collar crimes or for nonviolent crimes. Now, I'm going to tell you about prison in my personal opinion, right? And I think most people know this. Prison saved my life, but it didn't do anything to do that. It just put me in proximity to someone else that did.
Mm-hmm.
They don't do anything to help you. They lock you up. Now, I have been a blue collar criminal. I have been a white collar criminal. I've done both. And I'll be really honest with you. I got a lot more respect for the blue collar ones. The ones that should probably get locked up and do more time are the ones that, because they don't ever get in trouble. My favorite current crime, right, is the crime of the century, where a family killed 980,000 people and got to keep $7 billion in the process.
Right.
None of them are going to do 1 day in prison. Those people should do some time. Their name is Sackler. If you see one on the street, tell them Tommy said what's up. I appreciate your.
I was more violent.
Was excellent. What?
I was more violent when I got into prison and throughout my time than I was outside.
I think a lot of people get the violence knocked off of them in prison, right?
I mean, I got a violent charge, but along with several other. So
I think we get sick. You get sick of seeing it. You know what I mean? Like there's enough violence to hold you in prison, right? You get in the real world once every 5 or 10 years, right? Once every 4 or 5 years, whatever. If you go out a lot, but you don't find yourself in too many situations where you see people hit each other, right? Or stabbing one another. You may actually go a lifetime and not see that happen. In prison, you're probably not going a week or 2.
Nope.
Right.
So
first thing I witnessed.
Stabbings, and the craziest part is that you get to a point, I'm not kidding, where you'll be walking in circles in the day room like a rat, because that's what you do. And you're walking in circles and you walk by a cell and you're thump, 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 thump. And out of the corner of your eye, you see the guy going like this. And you just keep walking. You get around the other side, sort of slight glance to see. You will get to a point where it just becomes
normal. It don't phase you.
Yep.
Not even a lick.
Everyday
Sadly,
thing.
that's the truth. Sadly, that's the truth. And I think that's the truth for everybody. Do you think you would have gotten sober without ever being incarcerated? Why or why not?
I don't think I would have.
Appreciate your honesty on that. Truthfully,
Yep.
I do, because that's a tough question, man. That's not an easy one. Kelly's thinking. I'm watching.
I was drinking pretty heavy when I got locked up, and they violated me, and I got sent to prison to finish out, and then I got out on parole for 5 months, and then I'm off paper for good now.
Nice.
But I lost it.
Happens to the best of us. Did they
Okay.
ankle monitor you? How did you or were you
they
having to
just-
go blow a
I just got
breathalyzer? How did
parole, and I had an apartment. But well, I forgot what you said, where I was going with that. I'm embarrassed. I do
The
that.
question was, do you think you would have gotten sober without ever
Oh,
being incarcerated?
I was drinking before I got locked up, and as soon as I got out, the first chance I got, I went to the store and bought some beer. It took me practically drinking myself to death. My son came and got me in Georgia and brought me up here to Virginia. And he didn't make me quit, but it just kind of tapered off. And finally one day I ain't buying no more vodka or no more beer. I ain't buying no more. So, and I hadn't since. I tried to drink a mixed drink on my birthday last year, and y'all, it made me sick. And I didn't like it, and I probably would
I'm
never
so
drink
glad
it
it
again.
did.
Yeah, me too. And then when
I
a
really
couple of
am.
weekends ago, I went to my daughter-in-law's mama's house, and they had a bottle of vodka and whiskey sitting over there. And David said, "Help yourself." I didn't touch nothing. So
Yeah, that's how you say it. That's exactly what I'm doing right now, is helping myself, right? By not
Yeah.
touching your,
Mhm.
that stuff. It goes through the liver, because that's where poisons go. I'll tell you what. Would I have gotten sober? No. I was going to continue to get locked up until something happened, because that is what stopped me from using handcuffs, right? Straight up. Like that's, if you want me to stop using heroin, you put handcuffs on me. Works every time, right? If I can't pick up the phone, dial the dope man and get him to my house, chances are I'm going to stop doing it. But if not, I'm going to do it. And that was who I was until I met this wicked cool black dude who helped me get sober. Right? That was, but the only way that would have happened, the proximity to Q. I mean, keeping it real, even if he was on the street and I had been on the street, we weren't going to run into one another. Right? The only way that he and I would have ended up in that proximity next to one another, oddly enough, is to have both been busted and ended up at that prison at that time. So did it help? Yeah, but it was a friggin' miracle. They always are, aren't they?
yeah,
Right? Everybody that gets sober got one of those miracle stories. Right? They don't come any other way.
Q really started something, didn't he?
Yeah.
All the people's lives he's touched through you. It's amazing.
It's
all about connection.
It's all about connection.
Yeah.
I promise you it is. I promise you it is. There is such thing as a retired drug dealer.
No.
There we go. They do exist. Right?
If I feel comfortable enough with people, I'll say I'm a retired drug dealer. But you don't get no retirement fund from it.
Yeah, the retirement fund is going to be tough. I'm gonna tell you something, people. The boat, she gets bigger, and there are some really cool things going on behind the scenes. There are some things going on behind the scenes that are really, really cool. I don't feel like I'm bragging much, and I don't feel like I'm telling everybody a whole lot of crap that they probably haven't been watching and figuring out. But for whatever reason, this is kind of catching on. And there are some parties that have reached out to who have a vested interest in seeing us get bigger, which is really cool. There are some people with some pockets and some people with some this is catching on, people. There's some really rowdy stuff that's going to be happening in the next couple of months. And all it means is that there's going to be more of us to connect with. Right? That's where we're going with this puppy. It's going to get bigger. It is going to get bigger.
You've got nowhere to go but up. So
we got nowhere to go but up. And guess what? You're all getting famous. For real. You think I'm kidding? Dude, I met Ben Bacon Bits yesterday, right? Like I was I was like, damn, there's an awestruck thing that goes on when you meet the people who are in the crowd. That's why, let me explain this, because I honest to God think people miss it. If you're lurking here, you have no idea. Why are you watching YouTube?
I was a lurker for so long.
No, great, but
I hated, I missed several months of not knowing my chat family, who I just love to pieces, you know, and we follow each other around all day long on YouTube. But I love it. You know what?
Here's the crazy thing, right? Here's the crazy thing, for real. When we were growing up, we watched television, right? But you weren't a part of it. And the way that content is created around here, right? When we create content, there's nobody that doesn't know who Charlie is, right? Like Charlie Mullins, Charlie's a rock star. No one doesn't know who Russ is. Like you become part of the fabric of the boat. The reason that this stuff is the way it is because of all of you. You don't get it, but I swear to God, it's the truth. And I'm in awe every single time I go somewhere and I meet SPTV Tattoo Warrior, right? Or I meet, Kelly, or I meet any of the people that I met over the Kelly was great. It was so much fun, the connection, but you guys are the show. I got a cool seat, but every single person who isn't lurking gets to be a part of this friggin' show. And you know what? Quit lurking, because I got a secret for you. There's about 200,000 people that are going to be showing up here in the next year and a half. So you might want to get a good seat and start talking before we start packing the place and making it a little more difficult. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
Those of us that have been around since there were 6 or 8 of us here, Kiss Freak, right? It's been growing pretty steady. Start throwing your elbows, or you're going to run out of room.
Some of us came to the channel just like furniture.
That's right. The day I went live. Right, for real. I had 278 subscribers before I hit record.
Yes, some of us
nice being Johnny Scoville's younger brother. You know what I mean? Not too many people get to hit record. I went. Holy crap! I got subscribers. I don't even have a channel. I haven't even put up a video. That was my brother. I'm going to take this cat and go abuse her viciously. That's the only way you can get a cat to stay like this, right? You have to. No, I am going to go and take this sweet thing, and I'm going to let my East Coast friends get some sleep. I did them dirty, people. I really did. Russ ain't going to talk to me again. This whole time that he's been here being nice to you, he's been texting me every 2 minutes, calling me everything but a white man.
Whatever.
Tell the truth.
Nice try. Nice try.
There's Mr.
You put me on Front Street. Come on now.
Dude, Front Street on blast. Right?
Peckerwood Flats. I mean, come on.
Look at how pretty that cat is.
Yeah.
I know that was beautiful.
What's your cat's name?
Come here.
Church.
Church.
Great name for a kitty.
After Winston Churchill.
Yeah, like Winston Churchill. We got cats everywhere. Kelly, you are coming up short. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Tell you what I'm going to do.
I don't have a cat.
Here you go. You can borrow a squirrel.
Yeah. No, I got to see my grandcats this weekend and all the grands.
Nice.
But I haven't got one here for me yet.
Well, we're going to need to work on that.
This is Leo.
Oh.
You see him?
Orange tabby.
Yeah, Kelly, we need to get you a cat. Look, you're the only convict on the panel without a cat.
I know.
Right? You're
then
obviously
I had the dogs.
Tighten up your game.
But I did have some fur loving, some four-legged fur baby loving this weekend. But yes, I am looking for an animal to adopt.
That's the spirit. I know you're going to save one. I want to tell you the coolest thing, honestly.
Matter of fact,
have a picture. I will show you.
And it's $450 to adopt a rescue. Why? Isn't that insane?
No, you found the wrong place. There are people. I do attract cat people just Pauline. There's no question. It's because I'm a hairless cat.
Squirrel's basket's way too small for this guy.
this little girl here she was incarcerated. There's no two ways about it, man. I walked in and she was looking at me through bars and she was wicked unhappy. I promise you. I stuck 2 fingers in that cage and that cat dropped on my 2 fingers and looked at me like, bro, you got to get me out of here, man. I swear to God, I will not pee on anything. I'm not going to scratch you. You've got to get me out of here. That was the look. If you've never been in one of those places, go make a prison break for a kitty
I
cat.
know.
I promise you. You're
And
gonna
we
thank
picked
me.
her out before you even went there.
I want to bring
That's
them
true.
all
Had the
home.
cat picked out before I went there and had the name picked out. That's what the boat does. But she's going nowhere. This is my girl. Love of my life. All right, peeps. I'm Captain Tommy Scoville. That was Kelly. Thank you so much for coming on here.
Thank you for
This is
having me. And I
absolutely-
love all y'all.
Well, you're going to
Love
be back.
all my cat buddies. Everybody.
You're coming back because I'll tell you what. I watched your first video and I just said, you know what, man, she's awesome. started texting people. I said, you got to check this out. Lord Kiss Freak, it is an honor always, man. I'm telling you, one of the first waves that ever rocked the lifeboat was when you apologized as a drug dealer. It literally left people with their mouths dropped open. It was a wonderful thing to be a part of. And I'm glad you're back, my brother. I love you.
Thanks
Glad
for
you're
having
here.
me on here.
And you know what? He was also here. He was there for the world's fastest tube of terror. He was there when
23
I
seconds.
almost killed myself on that, man. The cap cramps went away yesterday, Russ. I'm not even playing with you. I did that 3 years ago and some change, and the cap cramps just went away yesterday. How are you doing? Are you ready? You ready to go to work? What do you got, about 15 minutes before the alarm goes off, Russ?
About 30. And I haven't slept, so I got to get up at 4:30. So I'm good.
Here's the thing, Russ. In my own defense, I have nothing to say for the second.
I'll
half
make
of
that
sentence.
sacrifice. I ain't got a problem with that.
I love you, man. You are a solid wood and a solid brother. I love you all again. Brought to you by the peanuts that will take the skin off of your tongue. Have a great day, everyone. I'm Captain Tommy. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Bye.